What's up, guys? It's Brits Vapes, back at you with my second review. It's been a while since I had done a review. Since the last time I had done a video, I've improved greatly in the vape community, so of course, I said yes. I'm super excited about it. Definitely looking forward to the path that my life has taken. I'm not really sure where it's going as of right now, but it's definitely looking pretty good. I'm going to be reviewing the Mage Mech Trigger Kit by Coilart. This is the beautiful, gorgeous resin mech mod. It is beautiful. Alright, so the box itself, you get your options of color on the front. You've got silver, copper, multicolor, black, brass, red, and blue. And of course, I have the multicolor. On the back of the box, you have standard configuration, which I'm not really sure what the other options would be. You get, obviously, the mech mod, you get the Mage RDA, and then a bag of accessories, and then over here on the other side you get your scratch and sniff, authenticity right there. I've already done mine. I scratched it off just to make sure, I don't know, the way I got it, it was kind of weird, so I did that. Inside the box, it's a nice, beautiful, kind of texturized box here. Inside, of course, is my proof of purchase. I picked this up myself for the purpose of this review. You get your little bag of goodies. I've had this, like I said, for a little bit now, probably 3 weeks. And I already used my grub screws. I've got one in there. I've used my grub screws. And it comes with 2 extra magnets, 2 extra little guys, which you can't see because my camera doesn't focus right. Obviously, I have the mech out and I'm using it. So underneath, you have a bunch of foam. You've got warning. It's just basically telling you it's intended for people with extensive experience and require a thorough knowledge of battery safety to operate them without hazard. Please test your atomizer on an ohm reader or box mod before you connect on a mech in case of a short. And then, as well as that, you get a little disc which tells you, with your RDA to twist and pull. Do not just pull off, because you will jack up those O-rings. On the back, it shows you the colors you can get. They do have a solid black. They've got a red. They've got a multicolor, yellow, blue, and purple. Super sexy colors, guys. Super sexy. And then here's the quality control. And, of course, it passed. Without further ado, let's put all this back together because it's always a puzzle. Alright. Here we have the Coilart Mage. Of course, with this, you're just going to have the tube. The tube and the RDA. Let me take this apart here. Turn the battery out. Alright. Now, on the inside, you do have a protection. Let's say, you forgot to check the wraps on your batteries. It does have protection in there for that, which is always nice to have extra protection. Always use safety anyway when you're using these devices, guys. Here's your firing switch. On the inside of it, you have a triangular shape, so that way it doesn't twist and unscrew and stuff like that. It does have a safety feature on it, so you can unscrew it. That's how you're going to fire. You unscrew about maybe 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters out, and then you can fire the device. See that? You can fire it. And then to lock it, you just, you screw it in. Now, let's take this off. It is not spring. There's not a spring fire button. Spring-loaded fire button. It is magnetic. So, a pro with this is that it's really easy to push. And there is resistance, but it's not insane. You're not, getting arthritis trying to pull from your mech. The only bad thing is, and this is a con, alright, when you go to clean your switch and pull it out, this magnet, the one right here that you see that is all jacked looking, that will fly off and smack onto your other magnets. Now, that's okay and everything if they gave us quality magnets. The magnets on these are just brittle. So the first time that it happened, and I just brought it home. I just went to the vape shop and brought it home, and when I went to pull it off to check if it was spring-loaded or magnetic, it flew off and, smacked with so much force onto these other batteries, and it snapped in half. The magnet did. So what I had to do was take some super glue, and it looks really terrible now, but that's all super glue, I promise. It's completely 100% clean. There's just little fragments of super glue in there, which isn't a big deal. But I had to take a pair of pliers, hold it together, and super glue it. It doesn't affect the performance at all, but just be careful, guys, whenever you go to pull that out. When you go to pull that out, it will slap against it, so make sure you do have them opposite of each other, so they will push from each other instead of connecting together and smacking together. That's just a con that I can name right off the top of my head. I'm not going to take that out because it's really a bitch to get out. But when you do, this little triangular piece just comes right out. Comes right out, and the magnet comes right out. You can clean all underneath it. You can reach every little crevice there is. You can clean it out really well. These magnets right here, I'm not really sure why they did it this way, but you have 3. So you have the 2 here, the 2 extras that I showed you in the little goodie bag. Those are 2 extras there. I guess if those break too, you have 2 extra because they're thinner. Nothing really special about it. You guys know, you've seen a magnetic switch. Put that in there. And then we'll just put this dude back together. And like I said, just be real gentle with it. Because if you're not, you're going to crack that magnet. And it's a bitch, let me tell you. So, with this little black piece here, you have no battery rattle. The only bad thing about that is when you do put your battery in, I'll show you guys here in just a second, but you can adjust how far your firing pin comes out. Like if you want, I want that bitch to touch the battery, you can just crank it down as far as you want, and then, yeah, that thing is going to touch the battery. It's definitely going to be there. Select that. So the top here, the hybrid connection, has kind of an octagon shape on it, which I think is really cute. I like it. Super cute. I really love it. It's classy, and it just goes right along. It goes well with the mech, with the tube. It just goes so well with it. The bottom of the firing switch it's so weird. It's so off. Like, look at that. I'm not really sure what they were going for there, but they definitely hit a foul ball on that. But that's okay. Now the RDA, I love it. It's the tsunami style airflow, like the Kennedy. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Your deck is going to be just your standard 2-post. When you go to put a build in here, before you tighten down these screws, take them out and put them in the screws that come with the kit in the goodie bag, because I learned that the hard way. When I'd put multiple builds in there and they just kept stripping. I didn't know what was going on, and so I put the other screws in there, and then those were okay, but I'm like, I really like hex screws. So I just went and picked up the Dead Rabbit like last week, and they had flathead screws or hex screws. And I'm like, you know what? Let me see if those will fit in there. So sure enough, my hex screws for my Dead Rabbit RDA fit in here, and that's what I have in there now, and they fit just right, snug as a bug. It's great. Right now I've got a dual parallel 5-wrap it ohms out to 0.18, I think. The firing on this is definitely top notch. It fires super hard. It hits hard. The connections are beautiful. Right now, with this, when you wick it, don't stuff it completely. Like, don't stuff. You don't need a lot of cotton in this. The juice well, you're looking at about 5 to 6 millimeters. It's super deep. I mean, right here to the top of this bottom O-ring is where that juice well ends, and you can put a lot of juice in here. What I normally do is, like I have it here, I don't put a lot of cotton in it, like I said. So I will juice it up. I will pour juice into the cotton right here. I'll go here to the side of the airflow, and then, you know, so on and so forth on each side, and then I'll drip down the center, and that gives me enough juice. I could do tricks for a good 15 minutes, and I still don't even have to juice up, and it actually wicks very well that way. I don't recommend any, you know, crazy builds in here, just because with mech mods in general, if you have aliens or something with thick wire with a high ramp up, you're not going to get, you know, you're not going to get a really good hit. You know, you have to hold that button down, and by that time, you know, you're putting strain on your battery, so you don't want to do that. I just use between like 22 gauge and 28 gauge Kanthal. If I use anything above 26 gauge Kanthal, I will parallel it. So that's why I've got the dual parallel here with 5 wraps, and I didn't want to do 28 gauge, but that's the only thing my shop had. I don't ever order anything online. I like to go get it, and that's it, and done with it. But other than that, this has been the best mech that I have actually messed with, you know, so far. The ergonomics of it, it's thick, the way the button is really gets me, because you don't have to push, well, obviously the button's not in there, but you don't have to do that, so you don't have to squeeze really hard, you know, to get a grip on it. You literally just push the pin in, push it in, and you have contact. The RDA, again, the flavor is out of this world. I have not had flavor as good as this on any RDA that I've had. The Dead Rabbit has nothing on this. The Goon, I feel like, has nothing on this. I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for that. But I wasn't a really big Goon fan. Goons didn't catch my attention. I wasn't very impressed with them. Let's put a battery in this. Again, guys, battery safety with these mech mods, this is not for beginners. You need to know your Ohm's law, know your battery safety, make sure that you're using the right batteries for the correct build that you have on your mech mod. Make sure that you're not over, you know, straining your battery or anything like that. And when you put your battery in, make sure you've got the nipple up top. Always do it facing you. That's a solid connection. That's the safest way of using a mech mod. Don't do anything other than that, guys. Another con that I found with this, and there's not many cons at all. Maybe a very, very, very tiny select tiny few. For some reason, Coilart, when they decided to make this, was like, it's for 18650 batteries, but let's make it to where it won't even fit an 18650. I'm going to screw this top all the way down. And if you look, this is screwed all the way down. This gap. There's a gap. You can see it right there. Why would you do that? So what I do to kind of eliminate that, it doesn't eliminate it, but it makes it less noticeable to the naked eye. Like if you just kind of, if you didn't know that the gap was there, you wouldn't have even known if you look at it right now. What I do is I loosen the bottom of the top and I kind of even the gap out. I'll screw this in, unscrew this, and then now you can see there's very minimal, if any, gap. And then the top, you can barely, it just kind of looks like it hangs down. Not a big deal. It actually looks pretty good. So I've got my battery in here. Right now I'm using the VTC5As, the 25 amp continuous, I think it's a 30 amp, and then 25 continuous. And I've got a 0.18 build on here, looking at about 23, 24 amps, if that. And I can chain vape this thing like no other, and the battery doesn't even get warm. So Definitely, again, know your battery safety, know your Ohm's law, know how many amps you're pushing and your demanding end of your battery, because it can be very dangerous. That's why a lot of people don't want to do mech mods, or, say, oh, you're using a mech mod. It's because I can vape all day long on multiple batteries as long as I'm building safely, and occasionally I'll check my ohms and make sure my ohms are still, 0.18, in that range, and make sure that you don't overdrain your battery. If you go down past 3.7 volts or 3.2 volts, take it out and put a new one in and put that one on the charger. Don't go any lower than 3.2 volts because you're going to be pushing more amps than what your battery can handle. So right now, with the parallel build that I have in here, let's juice it up. And then I will show you guys what I've got going on here. The flavor, again, is just nuts. I've never had so much flavor from an RDA before. That tsunami airflow just takes the cake home. That tsunami airflow is just amazing. Type of vape. Wow. The build that I have in here is barely warm. It's more cool than it is warm. What I like to do, you can of course build however you want to build, as long as you know what you're doing. You can build whatever you want to build. But mine is 0.18. The clouds are great. The flavor is fantastic. So what I'll do is I'll turn the airflow maybe about 25% close, and that gives me just the right amount of vapor and the right amount of flavor. Right now I'm vaping on some Naked 100 berry belts. This is a juice that I highly recommend you get in your car right now. You drive to your vape shop or you get online and you order it, because it is fantastic. It is just like sour belts, like strawberry sour belts. Overall, to list the pros and the cons, I didn't really go through the pros. The pros, the flavor is phenomenal. The cloud production is just mind-blowing, depending on how you build. However you build, there's no battery rattle. The way it is, they left. I guess that's why they made a rattle at all. Like the VCM. The VCM has that Delrin piece that is reverse threaded, so you can adjust that, which this doesn't have that. It's just got that one, so that way your connection doesn't touch your firing pin. The color of it is just magnificent. It's beautiful. Look at that. It was the last one my vape shop had, and I like purple. It's okay. I'm more of a red and black type person, but it's got some hints of red and a really dark streak here, which is odd. But that's cool too. Look at it. It's metallic. It's beautiful. The gold on it, I love it too. It doesn't get as dirty as my last mech mod that I had, or the VCM that I have. It doesn't get as dirty, but it does definitely, in between here, this gap gets a little black. So make sure you always clean your contacts really well. Don't use any kind of metal to clean them, because you don't know if a piece of it could fall off and get stuck in there, and you fire and you're dead short in your battery vents, and that'll just be a bad day for you, and you don't want to do that. Another pro, I do have to say, is the weight. The weight of it is heavy. You're vaping on something. I really love weight on my mods. The firing pin, I love. You could just push it. I love that. And then you twist it up. You can set it down. You can stick it in your pocket, which I don't recommend putting it in your pocket, but if you do so for a short period of time, you're just walking to your car, into the store or something, just put it in your pocket, you can lock it, you won't fire it. Not a big deal. But I do recommend taking your batteries out, putting them in a battery case. If you do have them in your pocket, never put your batteries in your pocket. just the battery itself, because you don't know what's in your pocket. It could hit the positive and the negative at the same time, and boom, that's why people blow up. Now the cons I do have to say, the magnets are weak as shit. Weak magnets, y'all. Weak magnets. So again, when you take your firing pin out to clean it, go slow. Make sure your fingers are in the way so it doesn't slap onto the other magnet and just snap in half. Because I was so pissed when that happened. But I fixed it. It's not a big deal. No big deal. I can still clean it. It's all good. Another con is the gap, which I've kind of eliminated it to a certain extent. It's really subjective on that. Another thing, the grub screws, which grub screws are shit anyway. So I recommend, going online or going into your vape shop and getting a thing of helix screws, or hex screws. I recommend you getting a thing of hex screws to put in here, so that way they'll fit nice and snug, because that first build you put in there, you'll strip the screws, I promise. Let's have another vape. The flavor, the berry belts, that's in this, the flavor that the RDA puts out is phenomenal. And the 510 connection that's on the hybrid. Another thing that you guys need to watch out for is you obviously have really good protrusion on this 510 pin, but I've noticed a lot on the top of your battery, it will scratch your battery. You can see right there. It will scratch the top of your battery pretty bad. So make sure you just keep an eye on that. Make sure you're not denting in the top of the battery or anything like that, and you're not touching. It does protrude quite a bit, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. But one thing I have noticed is that since it sits so snug with the battery, it will start to unscrew your 510. So I've noticed a couple times it'd fire really weak, and I'm like, what is going on here? I take it out, and my 510 is almost hanging out. It is literally almost hanging out. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. That's just another another con that I had found. It's not a deal breaker, but it's, as long as you know what you're doing and you pay attention to the little things, you'll be fine. Let's have another tape. Damn. It's chucking clouds, dude. So, that's been my review on the Mage Mech. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for other videos, leave it down. Make sure you leave a like and then subscribe over there, because I'm trying to get this up, off the ground, get my YouTube channel to where I can post and help you guys out, quit smoking, and educate everyone on battery safety and mech mods, because ever since I've gotten a mech mod, I haven't went back to anything else, because it's just free range. Whatever you want to do with it, you can do it. As long as you're safe with it and you know what you're doing, Ohm's Law, battery safety. Again, guys, if you have any questions, any comments for future videos, leave it in the comments. Give me some love. Show me some love. That's really all I have for you guys. It's been fun. The Coilart Mage Mech Trigger Kit is a go. You can get it at your brick and mortar. It's going to be about $78 to $80 after taxes, wherever you're living. Online, they go from anywhere from $60 to $70 sometimes. I found one for $49.99. I don't remember the website, but just go on and check it out. You can get a plethora of colors. It's definitely a mod to watch out for. It's been real. I'm going to leave a link to my Instagram in the description. It's at BritsVapes _WVC_. Go check that Instagram out. Make sure you give it a follow. Show me some love. I just recently, like I said in the beginning of the video, was invited to join World Vape Crew. I'm excited to see where this journey is going to lead me. I know that my last review that I had done has gotten almost 700 views. When you watch this one, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you want to see future videos, what do you want me to review in the future videos? Juices. I'm going to hit up some juices. Maybe do some juice reviews. I don't know yet. But I hope to see you guys in the future. Trying to get people off smoking. I've been smoke-free for 3 months now, and I've done nothing but vape. I will see you guys in the next video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. What do you want to see in future videos? What do you want me to review? Do you want me to start doing juice reviews? Do you just kind of want to see what I do in my daily life? I could do some builds if you guys want me to do some builds. Leave that in the comments as well. Tell me what you thought about this video. Go check out my Instagram that I'm going to leave in the description. It's at BritsVapes_WVC_. Check that out. Give it a follow. Let me know what you think. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.